Everybody, do not be alarmed by Javon's strange look in the camera just now. That was just, a camera test. Uh, we're back for another episode of Top 5 Live, episode 148. Uh, we're almost at 150 episodes.
150
Um,
episodes. Ain't done one show live yet.
hey, listen, things happen. You know what I'm saying? It was planned and it just didn't.
That's y'all fault, man. That was all your fault.
I, I'll take blame. I don't care.
You definitely gonna take it.
Whoa. Oh.
Hey, what's up, BJ? What's up, BJ?
What's good?
BJ, if you want to come on the show, I would love to hear your perspective about today's topic, man.
That was crazy just now. So we're doing the top 5, in the spirit of Olympics, which I absolutely adore. I think it was Danny's idea to do the top 5 Olympic sports. Fairly easy list for me on this one. I assume we're going to have very similar lists, but we'll see, I guess. You know what I'm saying? There's always time to be surprised.
We'll see.
Along with that, for many of y'all that I forgot I got to make this joint public on my page. For many of y'all that are in the indie comic community, I know that
you had fun this week.
Yeah, it's been an eventful week. I know many of you guys are aware of. Danny and Javon could probably walk through some of the weeds better than I can, but the overall idea is that there's been a news articles going around about Colin Kaepernick and a $4.1 million deal to. I think the name of the company is Lumi. That is a startup that will be using and utilizing AI as a part of its business model or website direction for why it's being used. This has obvious now a little bit more background. A lot of my compadres in the indie comic community had. All right, bet Sean. Good to know. And what's good. A lot of my compatriots in the indie comic space, black for my knowledge, all of them were contacted. Oh, there he is.
I'm here.
Hardest working man.
I'm here.
Comics.
Restreamed it like my camera at first. I apologize.
Hardest working man.
I was determined to take that title from you, but that's too much responsibility.
What's going on?
Too much.
What's going on? A lot.
For those of y'all who do not know who Victor Dandridge is, outside of what we just said, he's the hardest working man in comics, and he is at this point. I'm pretty sure he's well earned that title at this point. I don't know that anybody can really we can just chase after it, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you, but
I will openly say that I welcome anybody that wants to work with me in order to attain such a title. I'm all for that. Because again, part of the whole backdrop of being the hardest working man in comics is if you don't open up doors for other people, then what's it for? So anybody that wants to work with me to attain that title, let's go.
There you go.
Open up doors.
Hey, I was close last year, Victor. I was close last year, man. I did 35 shows.
That's not bad.
40. I was close.
That's not bad.
Hey,
don't play.
Hey, you know how raw. You know how raw.
No, this year, not this year.
You know how raw you got to be to for Javon's like, bro, I almost had you. I had 35 shows last week, and Victor's response is,
"That's not bad."
It's not bad. It's not that. That is not a bad thing.
He didn't just say.
Wow.
He didn't just say that's not bad. He made sure to grab his drink and sip his
water.
He made sure to
he took a sip too. He took a sip on me, man.
It's one thing to say that's not bad. It's a whole nother hill of beans to be like to reach off camera. It's a whole other hill of beans to reach off camera while he's speaking and say,
"That's not bad."
The man was like, "That's nice."
That's some good work right there. Javon did shows I didn't do last year. He did shows I didn't do last year.
Hey, listen, man. Your hard work. I'll be honest with you, man. And I've said this about everybody in the industry. I've said this about Morgan. I've said this about Danny. Everybody that I know does something that I try to emulate.
I got you.
And so, I learned. I don't know if I ever said this to you, but I have learned a lot from you you know, whereas like, you know, doing as many shows as possible, doing panels, moderating panels.
Listen,
like that was
done
definitely
a great job at that. By the way, let me give you your flowers back. You've done a great job.
You as well, man.
Well, thank you.
I be trying to get into one of his panels and they don't let me in because there's too many damn people.
When they were considering they probably was like, yeah, man, this is a guy named Javon Stokes that I think we can bring on the panel.
I don't know if Victor knows.
People that were in delegation were like this.
Come on, Morgan.
Hey,
the water, it's gotta mean something when I take some water.
I'm doing that from now on. I'm just
seriously though, Victor. I was supposed to moderate a panel. It was for Fed Expo. I'll never forget it. I was supposed to moderate a panel with Mark Guggenheim, I think.
Okay.
As a Guggenheim, and I was so excited. I was like, yeah. And then I just talked to Kevin. It's like, oh no, let's go to Victor. I was like.
Hey, man. What show was that? Was that a MegaCon? That was MegaCon, wasn't it?
Was it MegaCon? It might have been MegaCon.
Yeah, I think it was MegaCon.
I was like, man, I'm about to have to get kneecap.
Guggenheim and a couple other guys on that one.
Yeah, you might Nancy Kerrigan that dude, bro.
I was about to Nancy Kerrigan him real quick.
I will say I will be. That may or may not find its way into the next Lumberjacks comic. I'm just saying. I will provide the appropriate credits. If
I can draw, so it's gonna get to mine first.
That's a moment.
I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
We appreciate you coming in, man. We really do, man.
I will say, I don't know if y'all have ever been to one of Vic's panels. This dude flabbergasted me. First of all, he got us into the show when the show was sold out. Number one, me and my daughter was like, "Oh man, we couldn't get tickets." And Vic was like, "Oh, how many you need? What you trying to do?" Came up to we pulled up to Raleigh. This is the state that I live in. I live in the state. I'm not visiting. I have a residence here in North Carolina. I pay taxes here. I pulled up. I was like, "Hey, Vic said that there was some tickets here for me." He was like, "Victor Dandridge? Oh yeah, come on in, man. Don't even worry about it." I was like, "That's all I had to say."
You left part out. You left part out, man. Me and my daughter can't get inside. Oh, really? Yeah, Vic said we can get in. No problem. Come on in.
But no, man, it was definitely a sight to behold, man. Vic seems like the master of all media because he be asking such detailed questions. But he told me a secret, and I won't show it here.
No, put it out there. Put it out there, baby. No, because this is all about truth. This is all about authenticity.
Okay. He was doing a Star Trek panel, and I love Star Trek. I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Deep Space Nine. Let me be specific.
Deep Space Nine specifically.
Yeah.
This dude was asking such specific questions that I thought that he was the make. I was like, yo, this dude must have watched every episode, every DVD commentary. He must have watched everything. I talked to him after the panel. He was like, oh, I haven't even watched the show. I don't even know. I've never even seen the show before.
No.
You know, you said that story before. I've always thought about that. So like I used to I remember my first couple of panels, I used to have like notes. I used to I got my notes.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I got up there and like so much of it like I learned is like you gotta like just let them talk.
You fly. Yeah,
right.
It.
Let them talk and then like listen and then be like, oh, okay, Now I don't ever have notes no more. I don't even do notes.
It's the way you do enough information research so you have something interesting to ask.
Yeah,
but they'll talk like and truth be told, especially if it's a big enough project, all you have to do is hold court for like 15-20 minutes and then you pass it to the audience who will ask even more in-depth questions. And that's literally the skill set is can you hold a conversation about their work in some capacity for 15 to 20 minutes? If you can do that, you can do it. And it doesn't matter, how big of a fan of something you are, how little of a fan you are, minuscule research, just read about the show, read about their character or their acting. Little things, man. Like I can tell you right now, we were in Raleigh, I think 2019, and I had Summer Glau, and that weekend was her birthday. And so we started off the panel by singing happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
Like that killed a solid 6 minutes. Like without pushing those 6 minutes right there, easy.
Good. Yeah, because you got to go through the regular version, then the black version. Like you got to.
You know, we had to put something on it.
Yeah,
okay?
you got to
put something on it.
Yeah,
I'm laughing because he's like, we killed 6 minutes. Because in my head, I'm like, oh man, I got to get an hour into this, man.
That's what I'm saying. So
we do it every week though, Javon. This show right here is plenty of practice because there's plenty of times we come on here with no clue what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, but you don't see like the people. Like that's the thing. Like, because like I can't help it. Like whenever I see somebody like if I'm doing a panel and I see somebody had to get up and leave, I'm like,
what did I say?
In my head, I'm like, where are you going? Like,
throw it out there. Throw it out there. Hey, give me some water while you out there. Like, don't crazy. Put the spot.
Bro, bring me some Wingstop or something, bro. Come on.
You know what? I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to do that.
How you do it? Just gotta. Hey, when you come back, bring back water for me, would you? Thank you.
But you know, doing panels is so fun. It's real fun. Like I and you know, like I do admire that. Like you know, like especially Fan Expo, like for them, like Vic is the go-to guy for the biggest ones. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I know for me, I think Kevin has me doing a lot of like the comic book stuff because I'm you know, I have pretty good knowledge for it and I can go real quick. And so, but like when they need the big stars, like he get to schmooze with friggin' Rosario Dawson, I'll be mad as heck. Like, can I get one? Just one.
Yeah, I got her again in Chicago next week, and yeah.
I mean, hey, share the wealth, man. No.
Listen, that part ain't up to me. That part is not up to me.
I know. Hey, before we go deeper,
that's it.
Are you going to San Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do that.
Under Fan Expo, I'm contracted for the year for all of their other shows except for two. Two of them I'm not contracted for. That's Edmonton in Canada and in FanFest. And technically those are two smaller shows, so they don't have the budget to bring me out. But we'll still see what happens. But everything else, I'm under contract for. In fact, I got to have a meeting next week to see about my contract for 2025 with Fan Expo because I have an offer from Fan Expo and then I have one from GalaxyCon, and I don't know that I can do both. So we'll have to see what my 2025 looks like. But it is bare minimum 21 shows is what I'm looking at bare minimum. Right now, like San Diego was my 18th show of the year. So it flows in a crazy sort of way. So we'll see exactly how many it actually ends up being overall. But yeah, definitely scheduled for San Francisco. So if you go out there,
I think I'm at 12. I think next year I'm going to be doing a lot. I just talked to Kevin. So I'm going to be doing, I think, New Orleans again, which was fantastic.
Love New Orleans.
New Orleans. I'm going to do Portland.
Portland's fun. Portland is a weird one though because it's so very comic booky as a city, but the show itself doesn't quite capture that yet. I know they're working on it, but Portland itself is just as a city is great.
Yeah, the two I want to get to, and then we can talk about what we talk about is Dallas and Denver.
Huge shows.
I missed those two this year. Just miscommunication. I think with Dallas they filled up real quick.
Dallas fills up quick. So does Denver.
Yeah.
Denver was a 4-day show. No,
Denver I was set for. I just couldn't swing the money.
Got you.
Yeah. But, all right. So we were supposed to talk about Colin Kaepernick and the ongoing AI saga.
Yes.
So for those that don't know, as Morgan was saying, Colin Kaepernick over the last few months, if I'm not mistaken, right, gentlemen, has been reaching out to different people within the industry, specifically the indie industry, specifically a lot of Black indie creatives, to kind of gauge, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't get reached out to. To gauge, the industry and what the industry needs and what creatives needs and correct? No, Danny.
Well, yes. So I thought that he talked to. I thought he talked to a couple of y'all. Okay, yeah. I'll say that Mr. Kaepernick and a couple other folks, reached out to a bunch of artists, writers, comic book creators, and yeah, I think he was telling us he was developing a project to help creators publish and get to an audience quicker and things like that. And I'm not gonna say I don't know if I'm allowed to say what we talked about in the meetings, but I'll say I know there were plenty of people who expressed once we found out that it was AI that you know that that's not what we needed. You know, I know from my perspective on AI, we've talked about AI plenty of times on this show. You know, I think that it can be used for some things. I think there are some uses for AI, but I think if there is a platform that is made with the intent to help creators create, I don't think the creation part is the part that we need help with. I don't think that the creating comics is the part that we need help with. I think we need help with distribution, marketing, budgets, all this other stuff that comes with the business of making comics. I think that stuff we need help with more than the actual making comic books. And I think there were a lot of people who, you know, had that perspective. And, you know, I think a lot of people were disappointed to see, you know, how they were kind of marketing this platform.
I think I can only speak for what I've seen. I didn't see people disappointed. I saw people pissed. I just want to make that clear. There's definitely a difference in between being pissed and being disappointed. I know Lori was very not okay in her post. A few other brothers and sisters. That weekend was pretty crazy. I've seen people. Now, I will say, I don't want to say I'll draw the line. I definitely want to make sure I get Vic on this. I will say that I where I draw the line for it personally is I'm not going to let my disappointment based on what I know at the moment quell or take away from what I've seen him do outside of this decision. I'm not going to disparage him as a person. There are people that have said pretty bad things about him that I would not be willing to do based on this decision, especially because it hasn't been rolled out yet. So do I understand the anger? Absolutely, I do. And I personally know I am, as a creative, I am almost naturally geared to be against AI. Not in all applications, but I do know we all know for a fact that it is going to affect the creative process. That's why SAG and the Writers Guild went on strike for as long as they did. God knows with the movie making, concerning the stand-ins, like there was something written in for them to be able to use a stand-in, have them come in and do a role, have that joint captured, and then them reusing that. You know what I'm saying? To make. I remember seeing that, and I said, they're gonna do what? You know what I mean? So I mean, like, we all know that this is a thing that was coming. We've known that for a while. Me being somebody whose profession is automation in different applications, it's an inevitability. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's where I think the conversation gets interesting. So, Vic, I definitely want to hear what you've heard or just how you feel about it, I guess.
Well, first and foremost, I want to give Danny his roses to be visible enough that Colin came to you. That's a great thing. Like, let me say that first and foremost. When it comes to AI, especially on the art side of things, and especially even still how it affects comics, I'm going to say the most pervasive, probably like horrible thing possible. It is chickens come home to roost. And the issue at hand here is, particularly from a writer publisher point of view, we have a disadvantage when it comes to creating in a comic book space. We are essentially told that because we can't draw, we have such a huge disadvantage that we have to fork over hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to bring an idea to life with no guarantee of actual marketing support or market success. That is a very hard thing to deal with. And what happens is that you get this conversation going between cost and value that becomes automatically lopsided when the end result has kind of a fixed market price that does not take that into account, right? So like if you take the amount of hours that it takes to make a car, that's why a car costs $35,000 at the end sale. But if it takes and this one, take that as a grain of salt in terms of actual stated price, but Eric July made this video a couple months back talking about it. It takes like $20,000 plus to make a good comic, but you traditionally only see a comic, a single issue comic, sold for at max or comfortably around the $5 to $10 range.
He said it costs how much?
20,000, bro. 20,000.
Jesus.
Yeah. Now his numbers are very, very high. Like he's talking about like $300 a page for art. Like he's talking some very high numbers. That's not necessarily what I think happens very often on the independent side, but I respect it as a marketplace structure.
I would have never made one.
Hey,
Danny. Never would have made it.
Hey, Danny, our comic's trash.
Brother, I've been willing and dealing for years. They never come up with that one. Like, never ever.
Eric July got a different. He got a different.
Please continue, Vic. I just
different audience. Okay.
So no, because it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So if it's costing that much to make a thing, and more often than not, the writer publisher does not pay themselves out of the equation, that's a lot of expense and we'll call it investment with no guarantee of a follow-up. And due to that, that means that ideas become stagnated because they can't be produced to fruition. At best, you can get one issue, maybe two in a year. That means there's a lot of time that doesn't actually get utilized creatively very well. And part of that problem also comes into play, which is kind of something that Colin in his listing for Lumi said, is not only are you dealing with high production costs, the time it takes to actually make it, which goes into, the value conversation that artists use. It takes me so long to do this. This is why I charge so much, which again, I fully understand that. But the problem is that the end product has a limited cost. It has a limited cost that we can comfortably sell at. We see that all the time when people are talking about on Kickstarters, a book with $10 or a higher than $10 price tag for a single issue. That's a no-go, right? Because people are like, well, I'm not paying $10 for that. Plus I got to do shipping, blah, blah, blah. But most of the time, these people are doing this to break even, So when it comes to the financial marketability side, this becomes part of the problem when it's not really based on collaboration in terms of the creativity of the comic. You have one person that wants to make a comic and they have a story that they want to tell. You have another person with a skill set that is, we'll say, overtly necessary for the general populace to understand and accept that it's a comic. Mm-hmm. And that person has the priority power structure over the other person because that other person doesn't have that power. I'm gonna take this hat off because it's moving around. So to that end, when a person has an idea for something and they go to an artist and that artist is like, well, look, here's my rates based on blah, 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 right? Because there's not necessarily even a set structure to justify why anybody charges what they charge. It's what they charge. Like that's just truthfully what it is. Mm-hmm. When there's not a set structure for that, what you have is that there are very skilled people who presumably can make the kind of money that they're talking about in mainstream markets, but are charging that to independent markets. And not having that separation is a problem. Not to bring up sports ball, but I think it's a very applicable thing. We have different valuations for different leagues that you're in. You know what I'm saying? So like if you were in the NBA, you can make a certain amount of money, but if you were playing overseas, not in the NBA, but still pro, you're not looking at NBA money. You're not even asking for NBA money. Mm-hmm. When we have the conversation between the NBA and the WNBA, both are considered, the top level of their league structures, but the NBA is bringing in so much more financially that it would be inappropriate to try to match that in the WNBA. It's got to be about a business structure. And if it's not a matter of money going in, coming out, or vice versa, then you can't uphold it. And the value that people put upon it is lopsided. And that becomes a huge, huge problem. That's business, though. And a lot of times when we're talking about this structure, it is not in the concept of business. It is in the concept of artistry and craftsmanship, which is not necessarily quantifiable in the same way. And we keep trying to, but it doesn't really work that way. Like not really at all. And it is the high crime of capitalism, truthfully. My job as a business owner is to make the most money while spending the least amount of money. Like that is what my job is. And I've had the distinct pleasure. It is like as a business owner, that's my job, right? The methodology that I use is different, but that's the point. You know what I'm saying? But I've had the distinct pleasure of speaking with Michelle Hurd, who was I believe she's vice president of SAG after the West Coast version during the strikes. You know, when we couldn't talk about shows and stuff, we would talk about that. Like we would get into it, and that becomes part of the problem of positioning. When you are seemingly personally afflicted by an advance of something, it's very difficult for you not to see it as an attack. Like that's just simple. Like I totally understand that. The idea here is when we are making, and I say we as collective comic book creators, when we make paradoxical arguments about something, that's kind of an issue, right? So like we go, well, AI doesn't have any soul or heart to it. It still kicks out 6 fingers. So that's a lack of skill, right? So if it's got a lack of skill, why do we present it as though it's a problem against actual skilled people who won't have those same issues? It is a non-issue because this limitation that this automatically has that we categorize as an easy, like, that's trash, then it will not affect what I can do over here because it can't do this thing that I can do. And because of that, like that simplicity of that paradox, we come into these situations where we're telling very wild stories to support each other, but it never solves the actual problem. We don't get to the thing that says, why is this even an option in the first place? Well, one's because we don't have separations of value when it comes to our marketplace. If you want, $100+ a page, go work at Marvel or DC. If you're that good, they should give it to you without question. That's not the question on our part. The question is, do we have it on the independent market? And would it be considered predatory for you to bring those prices to this place? Well, we don't have that.
I don't know if I disagree with that last part, Vic. I think
find the collection plate. Give me 1 second. Let me
I don't think it's the responsibility of the artist to adjust their prices to. I can understand what you're saying. I can understand what you're saying when it comes to that. But I think me as a business owner, right? Mm-hmm. I know what my budget is per page, right?
Yes.
If somebody's out of my budget, I just can't hire you. You know what I'm saying? I can't hire you. I've been able to find. I've had to change artists several times in this Ace Blade series, but I've always been able to find an artist to stick within my budget. I've learned how to letter. I write, I design, I do all that I can to keep my costs down, because I know what my budget is for my books, right? What I'm willing to pay per page. And if an artist, if they believe their skill.
Oh, they don't want to tell the truth. Look at it. They don't shut my man down.
Frozen with his hand like this.
He did. He's in mid-sermon. Look at it.
He got it.
Somebody get the deacon. Like okay, he back. Okay.
Boy, that's crazy.
I don't know what happened. But either way, I can't ask an artist to kind of change their evaluation because, there aren't, but, even though there are 100 books that Marvel and DC are doing, there's more artists than there are positions. You know what I'm saying? So just because they can't get in with great, terrible. But on the other hand, I'm one of the artists. I'm one of the writers that I don't mind AI. I don't have a problem with people using AI because I know that like Morgan said, it's in inevitability that it's going to happen. But then also, I don't put a value on that. Like the stuff that I've seen AI do isn't the kind of stuff that I like. So it's just not for me. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to do that,
when they get there, though,
you know what I'm saying? if you want to do that, then
I had to.
So can I say something? Because I missed the whole thing. I was downstairs being dad. Sorry. Yeah, I had to be dead.
Hey, no, I get that.
All right. So first thing on the Colin Kaepernick thing, it did not make me mad in the slightest. What my thought process for that was, $4 million could fund a lot of comics, a lot of indie comics. That was what came to my mind. Like what I will say is, I understand the
people. You, hold on.
What happened? I understand the people who
I apologize.
Who he reached out to, why they're mad. Because I think a lot of them feel kind of betrayed. You know, they were, they posting pictures and everything like that, and they thought they were supporting something that was going to help them. In reality, it's actually something that's essentially, in a way, going to hurt them. So I get that. But the $4 million thing, I thought in my head, dude, you could literally set up your own. You could be the third or fourth biggest comic studio with $4 million right now. Like, you could literally pick and choose from the indie circuit and be like, let me get the best books and fund those out. Just my thought.
It would last 3 years.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you work it.
No. It's happened before. CrossGen did that.
CrossGen did that. But CrossGen had its problems as well, though.
CrossGen specifically set up so that it could pay people in a non-freelance structure.
Yeah.
And it only lasted for 3 years.
But they also didn't make great business decisions within that, though.
I don't know that there's any business decision that would have saved them
outside of the creative part. There was quite. I've talked to Ron Mars about this. I've talked to a lot of the people who were there, and they've all said.
But again, what you're saying is the simplicity of having the money should have given this outcome. They actually had the money, and they did not last.
Yeah, but you're talking about funding. They were paying people. They were basically paying people like a salary.
Yes,
and I'm not talking about paying artists a salary,
but I'm saying be if you have this basis of $4 million.
No, I'm saying with the $4 million. No.
For $4 million, here's the thing. Here's the issue. Here's the issue that you are suggesting as a stationary fact that is not stationary. Anybody that knows
that's my opinion.
No, and I'm telling you, this is why this opinion goes left. Because as a stationary fact, the only thing that is stationary is that there's $4 million. The issue is that people that saw that it's Colin Kaepernick, would they necessarily charge anything that they would have prior to this, or would they have seen that as an opportunity to charge more, which would have easily eaten up the $4 million much faster, which would have gotten closer to the Eric July costs of what we're talking about.
I'm not talking about the $4 million paying people. I'm talking about the $4 million allowing people to produce books.
Wouldn't you have to pay people to do that?
Well, not if you do it in a way where you're taking care of just say the print costs and stuff like that.
So people are supposed to work for free?
No, it's the same Image. The same Image has that model. Image doesn't pay anybody anything.
No, Image doesn't pay anybody anything.
Right. The sales of the books are what pay people. And I'm saying that you could have took that $4 million and set up a structure for other, maybe if let's just narrow it down to like Black indie creators. Mm-hmm. He could have literally set up the largest Black indie comic book Image-like structure, which would have put a lot more creators at a higher level on a map than they are now. And then use that money. You would have been better off using it for marketing and using it for printing, and then let the sales determine what the creators make in the same vein that Image does.
No,
but do things differently because. That wouldn't work. Well, how you can't?
I can't. I can tell you why. I can tell you literally why it wouldn't work.
Tell me why.
Number one, when the Image founders did this, they were the highest rated showcase of creators possible.
Absolutely.
Right. So when Colin Kaepernick comes to do this, under the basis of what you're talking about, Diamond, Lunar, whatever distribution company you want to talk about, are supposed to support this venture because him or the creators that he's bringing on. Because if the creators that he's bringing on haven't achieved that level of distribution by themselves, he cannot be responsible for getting them to that level, even with $4 million. That is
again, you're talking from a business. Yes, but you're talking from a theoretical point as opposed to we don't know.
That is not theoretical. Hold on. If you're not distributed by Diamond, if you don't understand exactly what it takes to
Diamond is distributing people within our industry right now. In the industry right now, Concrete Comics is under Diamond. So to say that he couldn't do it,
that's the question. Because what you're saying is that collectively, he could have made it so that people would have gotten that. He himself cannot do that. That is not the way Diamond works.
Well, I think
it's not the way it works.
Yeah, but the point being is that if you bring in, number one, if you make enough stink and you bring enough high profile to what you're doing, you can inevitably do things that you couldn't do before. Is what I'm saying. Like me personally, I can't get on the level to get on Diamond right now. I know this. I'm aware of it. I'm okay with it. But if I get myself up to say again,
definitely could.
$4 million, I could
have a conversation.
No, $5,000.
$5,000. But the point being is the path is there. Look, you can't act like the path won't be there. It can't be there. Like that's what I'm saying. You're talking theoretical as opposed.
I'm not talking theoretical. I am literally.
So tell me how. So explain to me how creators like a Concrete Comics can get on Diamond. But if Colin Kaepernick gathers 10 of the, let's say he goes to and gets Danny and gets Greg Elise and Greg Burnham and he can't get a Diamond distribution deal? Are you saying that to me?
No, because he has them? No, you cannot. Because
one
of the things that
$4 million wants, you can't do it.
One of the things that Diamond wants is a year of you showcasing your sales record. So him just getting those people doesn't do that.
Again, that's where the business part comes in.
That is an important part.
$4 million can do this.
No, $4 million does not automatically give you a year.
I didn't say automatically.
But that's what you're presenting.
I hear what Vic's saying. Vic's saying that the money in that situation isn't going to be what moves them to do it, because
I didn't say the money wasn't either. I didn't say the money wasn't either. I'm saying the money is a part of the puzzle.
But what we're focusing on is what you are saying.
What I am saying is that if you set up a structure,
it does not open the doors that you're saying.
But it can though, Vic. But it can. If Colin Kaepernick used the $4 million, if Colin Kaepernick set up Lumi is set up right now, right? To have distribution to then, if I put my comics on this platform, sell them for a year. You're saying I need to show my sales for a year, sell them for a year, and then take those same 10 that Javon is talking about and say, hey, the highest 10 here, we're going to go to the direct market. Right. We're going to get you to the direct market. We're going to get you distribution, and we're going to use the AI to find the people who enjoy the kind of things that you make. You have a proof of sale now because over this year you've sold on this platform. You've done well or you haven't done well. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are avenues and pathways to get to the direct market. I'm working on it right now.
Let me stop you right now. What you just described could work as what it is right now. That's what Javon is saying is the problem. He's saying that that's not the way it should be. What it is right now is what you just described, that people can put stuff up there. They should be able to distribute through this platform for like a year, build up. Then you have something that actually can be used to distribute to Diamond or something like that. But as of right now, you don't have that. So that $4 million that is used to invest in that process, that platform, that should not be moved to a space of covering the production for other things, because it does not give you the distribution setup that this does currently. This is going to be set up so that in time, that can be an option. But if you just say I have $4 million right now, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be for.
Yeah, but if the $4 million right now is to set up the structure to bring in and allow people to make their own books through the AI structure, right? Like that's what we're talking about, right? And then to own whatever they create, which they won't be able to.
That's not true. And
they're not going to be able to own their art.
That's not true.
That's literally literally Vic. Stop, man. You know there are legal processes going on right now.
Okay, so when you say there are legal processes, why do you speak so definitively as the legal processes don't mean that they're actually looking at it and seeing what should they determine
right now?
Like they
literally have people suing about that and not being able to do it.
They will be a place, because as we've said multiple times, it will be inevitable that this exists. So the idea of saying that you cannot own anything ever will not hold.
Right now you can't.
Will not hold. Again, right now is not the issue. Right now is not the issue.
That's what we're talking about right now.
No. But the issue.
So what are we talking about, Vic?
You're saying that he can't do it. Yes, it can be done, because this is literally part of the process.
Saying right now. I'm saying when he
right now the statement is that AI art cannot be copyrighted. Right?
It can't.
Right now it can't.
Right now it can't. That's what I'm talking about.
AI art is not the only part of the comic book. So there are absolutely parts that can be copywritten,
Yeah, but if the same people aren't even writing their book and they're using the AI to do it, they can't copyright that either.
How are you assuming that no one is actively writing their book?
I didn't say that, but that's the point. That's the problem with
no.
the
That
AI.
is the assumption that you guys are making for whatever reason. I don't understand why you.
I'm not making an assumption. I'm just talking about one of the routes, Victor.
That you can come in as a writer to use AI to make the art, or you can be an artist to come in to do the words. At some point, you actively have to make something that you are copywriting. You do. That is the point of what Lumi is setting up.
And the point I'm saying is that currently, as we speak, you cannot copyright. As we speak, I want to make sure I'm saying, as we speak, you cannot copyright and own what you're saying, unless.
So right now,
you are writing out a full script and then give it. But even then, you can't own the rights. You're not going to own the concept art.
Yes, you can.
If you're not doing the art, the concept art, you cannot copyright it right now.
Because what you are specifying is the concept art that is generated through the AI. Anything that is not is yours. Anything that is not is yours.
But I'm saying if you don't have the capacity to create the characters, because
that is the problem right there. A stick figure counts as the capacity to copyright something. It literally is just you authoring something. That's what copyright is. It is not the skill or skill set of it. It is literally just the creation, the authoring of the thing. That's what copyright is. So if I do a stick figure with just enough information to not make it a stick figure, I got a cape, I've got a color scheme. Any of those things work to make a copyrightable fact, because that's what copyright is.
Yes, but if you feed that stick figure through,
it does not change what I have done.
No, hold on, let me finish.
What's to finish? It doesn't change what I've done.
Let me talk, man.
It doesn't change what I've done, does it? Does it change what I've done?
If you copyright the stick figure, yes,
I automatically copyright the stick figure. That's what copyright is.
No, it doesn't. Not if you feed it through the machine and then copyright that. You can't do that.
For the 1976 Copyright Act, that is automatic.
You can say 100 words.
That is automatic.
You can't
do it.
Copyright
is automatic, sir.
Victor. You cannot copyright it if you feed that stick figure through.
What you are trying to
try to
suggest is that
copyright
the
what
thing
comes
that
out
comes
the
out
other
of
end.
the
You
AI
can't do that.
is the issue.
But
that is not in question.
I think what
if you want to copyright the stick figure, yes, I agree.
That's all I need.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's what Vic is saying is what Vic is saying.
Go to bed, Kenji.
What Vic?
Hey, I promised Vic I wasn't gonna come back. I wasn't gonna hold back, so I'm here for him.
What Vic?
Brother, I appreciate that.
What Vic is saying is that like he said it earlier. There are parts of that process and that creative process that you still would have. Even
I agreed with that.
Right.
I agreed with that.
So there's no question here.
No,
yes,
it is a question because
there's not.
Because listen to me. This is what I'm saying, and you're. I think we are saying the same thing and a different thing at the same time. I agree with you about the stick figure.
Then
yes, if you come in. Hold on, let me finish.
So what? There is nothing else to argue. If you agree with me about that,
Vic, if you can't hear, Vic, you ain't gonna hear if you keep talking.
I'm just telling you what it is. There's nothing else to argue about.
Actually, yes, it's true.
There's not anything else that would be generated by
I'm
AI.
Gonna keep talking. If you want to keep talking, I'm gonna go keep going. So if you want to crudely draw out a sketch and then send that to copyright it, you can absolutely do that. But if you decide to take that crudely drawn copy thing that you didn't copyright first and then feed it through the machine and then go through and then then you can't copyright that.
You don't have to send anything to
copyright. If I were to literally write down the words black man, blue cape, purple mustache, and yellow toenails. Right, I wrote down those words and then
do a stick figure to go with it,
and then I make a stick figure to go with it. That right there is the design of a character, right? That is the design of a character.
And if you send that to copyright, you can do that. You can do that. I'm agreeing with that, yo.
No, but Javon,
the minute you feed it into the AI, this is what they are talking about legally right now. The minute you feed it into the AI starts taking things from all over the place to put into that design, and therefore it is not copyrightable. That's the problem.
That is the wrong assumption of what we're saying.
That's the actuality of what.
No, but it's not the actuality.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. What Vic is saying is because that has not been decided yet, it's still in courts right now. The part that you're talking about,
they're ruling on it right now. Y'all missing that part. They are ruling on these things right now. Yes, they are.
That's not his point. His point is that even if you did it right now, it is he's saying number one, whether you take it through an actual copyright process or not, that idea, once you produce it, once you put it down and put a stick figure to it with this color scheme, whatever, is already that is already taken as a copyright that you can take it.
No, it has to be published to be copywritten.
That is publishing. That is publishing.
That's
yes,
not.
It is.
No.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Otherwise, what you're saying is like
dude.
a printing of a painting has to be printed in order for it to be copywritten. That's not
you're
true.
Actually, if you do a painting and you just have it in your house somewhere,
it's copywritten.
Number one, you can't copy. You're not gonna.
It is copywritten.
It's not copywritten.
It is too. You clearly don't understand what a copyright is.
I do know what a copyright is.
Not because what you do
can't
is
just
register a copyright.
If I write
it
down,
is automatic.
Like Danny said, if I write down blue cape, red boots, pink fingernails, and I just leave it in my computer, and then somebody comes out and somebody comes out with a blue cape, red boots, pink fingernails. I can't be like, hey, that's copywritten.
Nope, because what you just described is trademark, which is different, which is why I said this.
Copywriting requires you to actually send something in.
It does not.
Yes, it does.
It does not.
Guys,
trademark does.
Please do me a favor. Look it up.
1976 Copyright Act. That's what it is.
That's not how it works.
It is too how it works.
Me and Danny have talked about it.
You have to publish something.
It is publishing. When you make it, is a form of publishing.
It's not publishing. If it's on your computer, it's not published.
It is literally a form of publishing. Yes, it is. That's why it has a timestamp of when you did it on your computer. That's what it's for.
You will not win that legal fight.
Yes,
you will not win that legal fight.
Yes, you can, because the idea here,
you can't pursue a copyright. You won't.
Because again, the idea of what you're arguing is copyright. The copyright says I did this thing.
You're not going to win it.
You are arguing trademark, which is something different.
If you can,
you're not going to win it. You have to publish it.
It
has to be published. It has to be part of the public domain.
Everything that you're saying doesn't make sense because
so everything that
you saw it on my computer,
what is the rule for publishing?
Wait.
That's not what I said.
Wait, the easiest thing to do to solve this, Javon, you're essentially producing because we're not on the other stream, right? So I can't post anything. If I could, I would have looked up the definition for copyright and I would put it on the screen. I can't do that because I don't have control. That would be the easiest thing for you to do to help this thing. But as I understand it, and as I've read, and as I've had conversations, is what Vic is saying is correct. You know what Vic is saying is
you don't know shit anyway. That's why we didn't invite you.
What Vic is saying is correct.
Why you ain't on this call?
Copyright and trademark are two different things.
Two different things.
You're talking about it from a trademark perspective versus.
All right, I got you. No. Listen. Y'all ready? All right. The exclusive legal right given to an originator or an assignee to print, publish, perform, film, or record literary, artistic, or musical material, and to authorize others to do the same. Right. That's copyright. Am I wrong?
Right. What Vic is telling you is
the
first two words in there.
The right
print and publish.
The right
to publish is the act of producing. That's what publishing is.
No, that's not what it means, guys. Okay, guys.
It's the right. It is the right to do that. Like if I have the right to print Ace Blade, right? If somebody else comes along and prints Ace Blade and they say, hey, I created this character, I literally can show where I created this thing. But even if I did not, and I had all these 1,000 stories on my computer, if Vic came over to my house and saw the stories on my computer and then made Ace Blade, I could literally pursue copyright.
But you are talking about a different thing than what I just said, though.
No,
you're talking about something different. I literally gave you the scenario.
No, because again, and that's why I said that the issue at hand here is that you are not actively understanding what publishing is. Publishing is just.
Sir, I promise you, I understand what publishing is.
I promise you, you don't, because literally just making a thing
clearly ain't saying it. You clearly don't know.
I am a publisher. Like, that is what I do for a living.
All of us are publishers.
No. I am a publisher.
I publish books for it.
No. You have made some books clearly.
No, I publish books, sir. Be
doing it,
sir. I publish books.
That is what it is. That is literally what publishing is making the thing. That is literally what it is.
Publish.
That is literally what it is. Then you would understand that simply making the thing. I do understand that if you. And the point that I'm trying to make. All right, so then define this thing. If that is not what publishing is, tell us what publishing is then.
I just told you what publishing is. I just told you what publishing is. If you literally hold on. I kept trying to tell you what.
What is publishing? What is publishing?
On a shirt. I am a publisher.
Tell me.
Put it on a shirt immediately.
I just want to point out the big.
Hey, look, Kenji, you can't talk if you can't get in the club. I keep trying to tell you.
I just want you to tell me what publishing is.
Dude, I know what dude. So explain to me how. No, because I want to stay on topic. That's where I want to stay. All right, and the top we went farther, and that's cool.
Good point, Guido.
The point I was trying to make is that if you squiggle down your stick figure, that's where we were. If you squiggle down your stick figure and then you publish that meaning people can see it. That's what it is.
Publishing means. That's not what publishing means.
All right, I'll put it up. The activity of making information available to the public for sale or for free.
So having it.
That or for free just changed that.
Yeah, having it.
Or for free. Either way, you're still providing it to the public.
No, wait.
The public.
Wait, Javon, hold on. If you read that sentence and you leave off the or for free, it's a different sentence.
For free doesn't matter in what this conversation is. What we're talking about.
Making it.
I'm not talking about that.
Shut up, Jatovi. It was the first thing I could find. It's the first thing I could find.
Oh no, wait a minute. I messed up.
Turn off the comments. I don't even want to see them. I don't want to see them no more.
All right. Listen. So the whole point I was trying to make is that to publish means to publicly. That's what I'm talking about. It's publicly. It says it right there. It says it in the copyright. It's public. You have to make it's for public. That's why I said if Danny, using Danny's scenario, and I'm using y'all as scenarios, if Danny writes blue boots, red cape, pink fingernails, and it stays on his computer, and Joe Schmo, 2 states away, comes up with the same thing, because it happens all the time. Danny didn't copyright what he did because it wasn't for public consumption.
Did too.
The
issue again is what Danny can fight for is if that dude writes that same thing, it is not a contest of copyright. It's a contest of trademark, because the idea is that there are 2 different things now that say the same thing. Each person has the copyright to their version of that thing. That's what that is.
That's not how I understand trademark.
That's not what copyright is.
That is what copyright is.
No, it's not.
The same character,
I literally explained to you what copyright is.
Literally explained to tell me what without understanding what you said.
I explained to you what copyright is, and I explained to you what publishing is. And both times it told you that it's not
with
it. So I don't know what to tell you.
Again, you keep doing that. I don't know why you keep doing that.
I don't know what to tell you. If you don't agree with it, fine. But
let's look at it from a logical perspective. Let's look at it from a logical perspective, given the example that you just gave, Javon. So in that case, right, Danny came up with the idea. He wrote his idea down. This other guy that's from another state has not seen that idea, and they write the same idea down, right? If one of them wants to
publishes it and the other doesn't, that's the point I'm trying to make. One publishes it. Danny can't say, "Hey, my stuff, that's mine. It's copyrighted. I copyright."
He could trademark. He could say it, but the problem he would have in court,
he would lose that, which is the point I'm trying to make.
Let's stay with logic. Let's stay with logic.
You gonna tell me he not going? You really think that he gonna win that battle?
wait, let's just stay with logic, right?
I'm a publisher. I'm gonna win.
Not if you don't publish what it is. If you don't publish the thing, it is not copywritten. No, it's not. We just explained to you what a publisher does. You told me how much a publisher is.
You keep arguing trademark. Again,
I'm not arguing
you are
trademark.
literally talking about
two
different published materials,
Victor, and
you are arguing two different published materials as though it's a contest between the two.
Victor.
They're not.
I gave you the definition of copyright.
You don't understand what you said.
You don't understand what I said.
I definitely understand what you said because I'm telling you where you got it wrong.
You didn't understand. You didn't believe me about being a publisher.
No. It's not that I didn't believe you about being a publisher. I'm saying that you don't have the same acumen about being a publisher because you haven't.
I don't have an acumen, Victor. You don't know the definition because you just challenged me.
I just told you what it was. I just told you what it is.
The definition showed up in your face and you backtracked.
You read a definition. Man. Come on, you read a definition after I told you what it was. Like literally, it is the creation process, authorship that allows you to have.
That's not what it is because the definition just told you differently.
That is literally what the copyright is for because it speaks to a specific item. It is literally what the copyright is. That is what the copyright. You are arguing trademark. You are literally arguing trademark because the issue at hand here,
I know what a trademark is.
You gave the example of Danny, is if Danny has this thing written, that thing that Danny wrote is trademark or is copywritten to Danny. What other person has is copywritten to them.
Read that and look at the last word in the second sentence, and it tells you everything you need to know. I don't know.
Protects original works of authorship.
Keep going. Keep
authorship.
Go ahead, Danny. Go ahead, Danny.
Copyrights give the author the exclusive rights to republish, reproduce, distribute, prepare, derivative works, or perform or display the work publicly. It's a public thing. It's a
go ahead, Danny.
Thing.
Well,
we just read it.
The copyright gives it gives the right to do that, Javon, but you don't have to publish it in order to have.
I got you.
In order to have the right to copy it. If I have the right to copy it, but you don't, you know
absolutely. So but if it's not publicly, then you don't have. Then you can't claim the right because you didn't publicly make it. That's how people come out and say, "Hey, I made that thing," and they're like, "No, you didn't," because this person over here put it out. And they have no connection with you whatsoever. Javon, they don't have the copy. You don't have the copyright. They do.
I disagree.
Trademark.
Okay, we disagree. You're wrong. But
that's trademark,
right? If I paint this painting, but I disagree on trademark too. I disagree with both of y'all. If I paint this painting on my wall, like Vic said, and somebody comes, takes a picture of it, and puts it out online, they don't have the right to do that, even though I didn't put it out publicly. They don't have the right to copy my material. I have the right to copy it.
Wait. That's not accurate either. It's a matter of what it is that they have the right to put out. They can put out the picture because they took the picture. The picture is copywritten to them because they're the ones who authored the picture. You made the painting, so that's your copyright, is the painting itself. That's the way that works. Copyright is a statement of authorship. That is the issue why you have trouble trying to get different, we'll call it trademark things, reprinted, right?
You know
because the idea is that the person who makes the copy absolutely says that they have the ownership. That's what it does.
I'm just gonna go talk to Colin. I'm just gonna put my stuff on there and let them deal with their legal ramifications.
Nah, wait. See,
I didn't even get to the AI thing.
The reason I was trying to get to the reason I was trying to
real talk. Hey, real talk. This is why I like having this. Y'all don't understand, man. I want people to understand this. Victor is my dog, so this is no personal. Nah, because people be talking to me, they be like, "Man, y'all don't like each other." No, I like Victor. Like being
likable. I'm likable.
Listen, me and Victor had a whole. What was the argument about? What a comic book is?
What it can be.
No, that's not. That's why we ended up. We had this was at where was it?
We were
FSK Con. FSK Con. Yeah. Whole dispute.
Devon said that a comic has to have pictures. I said it doesn't because I made one that doesn't have pictures.
And I said it wasn't a comic.
And I said it was. I literally turned in for a free comic book or a comic book in a day. It was designated by everybody involved as a comic. It was made as a comic. It's a comic.
Man, they don't want to hurt your feelings, Vic. Man,
they paid me. I don't think I can hurt my feelings.
Hey,
they
money
say it
is
doesn't
money.
Count if you pay me.
Money is money.
You can definitely be like, hey, that doesn't count. But the check's
money is
clear.
money. Hey, money is money. I never go argue with
you. Technically, letters are pictures. So
yes, they are. Yes, they are. Which is also one of my.
That's why they call letters. You can talk technically all you want. They're not called pictures. They call letters.
No, they are visual representations of sound. That's a visual representation. That's what.
But they have what is the name of the thing that they're given?
What is the name of the thing?
A rectangle.
Okay. All right, cool. That's why you didn't say a picture is a picture. You said a letter could technically a picture. You didn't say a letter is a picture.
Well, letter can be a picture.
Well, a lot of things can be a picture, but they have their titles for a reason.
Well, I mean, like you can distill what's in a picture.
I put it on based on things. It's a picture, right? It's an image that I put on a piece of paper.
If I write a word, it's not a picture, it's a word. That's why it's called a word. Anyway,
I definitely
forgot what I was saying about the AI.
We're being reminded to stay on topic.
Okay.
I don't know how we got here.
I don't know.
The way we got here was the question or the challenge of whether or not you can actually copyright work that ends up being put through an AI platform. Which I said, yes, you can.
That
you
part
have to do the stuff ahead of time before you put it through the AI.
That part aside.
I just want to say this though. This is so I can't say. I don't know if I can say whether this is something that I discussed or not. But one of my problems with AI, one of my big problems with AI is that I don't believe that it helps indie creators because you can't make something consistently with AI. I think the amount of effort that it takes to the amount of skill and effort that it takes to make something consistent with AI, because I've tried it. I've tried AI. I've tried to use I did the mid journeys and I did I tested out Lumi. So the things that you can make on there, if you want to get on there and make 100 Spider-Man comic books, you could probably do that. Because like we said, it takes from the public domain and learns those things. But you can't make a Samaritan, you can't make a Heat, you can't make a Lumberjacks. I have tried. You cannot make a Samaritan on these platforms, and I think that for the effort, you might as well just pay somebody. You might as well just pay somebody to do it.
Well, can I say something before you go, Vic? Because I want to agree with you.
Learn how to draw yourself to do it.
There's something that Victor did say that there's two things Victor said that I agree with. One is I do think that, and it's kind of disagreeing with what Danny said, is artists, if you're like the artists in the indie realm can price themselves out of viability, right? Like, especially if you're an artist that can't write. Like if you're an artist, not can't write, but don't like to write. There are artists that don't like to write. And so I can see the allure of writers who see AI and go, that's cheaper, because everybody likes cheaper. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Everybody likes cheaper. So I do agree that a lot of indie artists, like you said, if you think you can make, if you think you can make 150, 200 per page, go to Marvel, go to DC. If you're already there, you're doing that. So I do think that there is a discrepancy in the amount of money that artists are asking for. And I agree with that. So I can see the allure of what AI does. But where I agree with Danny, though, is I do think there is a lot of creativity that a human artist will pull out that I don't think an AI will ever be able to do without pulling from real people. You know what I mean? Like when I think of an artist like when I think of somebody like one of my favorite artists is Bill Sienkiewicz, right? I love Bill Sienkiewicz. Now, I don't think you can get a design like that from an AI without pulling from Bill Sienkiewicz or similar artists. Like you can try, but you have to get it from somewhere else at this point. Like this point. I'm talking about right now. Like, I'm not talking about what advancements they'll get to. And I think that's where, to Danny's point, they might as well just pay somebody. But there a mid-ground needs to be made if the indie community truly has an issue with AI. We have to find a way to be financially responsible with how we move forward. So this is where I agree with you when you did your there. Mm-hmm. But my particular problem with AI is purely philosophical. All right, like it's not practical because I understand how things can be cheaper and faster and easier. To Morgan's point about automation, like automation has been here forever. We've always been trying to make things cheaper, faster, quicker. You know what I'm saying? So I do think philosophically, though, if I know how if I know how the hot dogs are made, and it's, you know what I mean? Like I like watching process. Like I like seeing artists draw. And so that is one of the allures to it, because I know the skill developed within there, and I know the years that it took to get there. And so, and I know the AI is cheating. To me, it's a cheat. And I don't like to consume art that's a cheat. This is personal. Like at this point, I'm not fighting. Like I'm not angry about AI. Like if somebody wants to make an AI book, hey man, I ain't gonna support it. If somebody wants that trash, go ahead, knock yourself out. But you know, like I'm not making nobody a pariah. I just won't respect you as a creator. And that's a personal thing.
Yeah, why?
Because you're not, if you are a writer and you decide to use AI, A, you took the short route. B, you took food out of another creator's off of food in another creator's table. You did.
No, you didn't.
You did.
No,
you did.
No,
absolutely did.
No,
how not?
No.
If we just agreed that
it's cheaper, because what you just said was an act of entitlement, that because you have a skill that I owe you business. That's not true.
I didn't say owe.
Yes,
I'm telling you what
how
you
can
did.
I take something out of your mouth if I don't owe you?
If I don't owe you. No. I didn't say out of my mouth. I said a creator.
I can't take it. I can't take anything out of anybody's mouth I don't owe them.
So let me get this straight. You can't understand that you using this machine to create your art when you could have used that time and used money to pay for another person. That's not taking food out of somebody else.
Based on your own logic right there, any person that I hire to do anything, I'm taking food out of somebody else's mouth because I didn't hire them.
That essentially, honestly, that's
what you just said. I don't owe anybody.
Well, so the difference between one and the other is somebody got paid and somebody didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody still got paid.
Like,
I
don't owe anybody.
But under that argument, like I was gonna say this. I was gonna say this earlier.
We cost $20 above. Somebody get paid for it.
I was gonna say this earlier, and it somewhat piggybacks on what Javon was saying earlier. Part of one of the points he was saying.
I agree with that.
But the example that you just gave, what Vic is saying, is both of those still go hand in hand, because by that same logic. It does, because by that same logic, if you're using the same logic, like if AI is cheating because it's taking food off the table, you know what I'm saying? Because one, it's not pulling from its own skill set, and two, it's taking money and food off of somebody else's table because you used it
off another creator. I didn't. You said somebody got paid, but it wasn't a creator.
Yeah, but what Vic is saying is, if I choose to pay Guida to do lumberjacks instead of paying you. You can make the argument I took food off your table.
No. You still you still supported a creator. Obviously, 50 million other artists didn't get paid at the same time. Like that's a false logic. That's a false logic there.
No, it's a truth.
It's not a false logic.
It's not a truth, dude.
It's based on what you say. It's based on the scenario you just gave, though. That's all I'm saying.
I think you're taking something and going to the most absurd
No, it's not absurd.
link. That is absurd. If
you
you can't understand the difference
because I
between
have a desire for something
if I use a
that
computer,
I owe somebody else my finances in
you
order to
keep
get it.
using the word "oh." I'm just
Well,
telling you
That is what it is. That's
yeah,
what that
because
is.
if you listen, if
because
you want to be
at a point,
you can't cheat the
it's going
game.
to end up
If you
becoming.
want to do something, then you do it. It's like getting upset with. If you want to be a basketball player, you put in work.
But
you have to put in the work. You got to put in the grind.
At a point,
just like if you took steroids, you cheated the game.
But
if you want to be a football player and you take steroids, what happens? And you get caught. You cheated the game.
But you're gonna at a point when you're making those decisions, right? Like that's what I'm saying. There's still a semantics conversation taking place here because again, if you at a point, it becomes a loyalty system. So the only reason I'm paying you as an artist is because I should morally.
No, you're paying the artist whose work you like. That's why you vet artists. That's why you work with the Guida because you like their work.
If we're putting this in context with the AI and the AI has gotten to the point where it can do the same thing, then at that point, what is my reason for paying an artist when I can pay the AI to do the same thing that the artist is doing?
But I've already expressed to you that I understand that you want to do it faster, cheaper. You couldn't do it. Number one, you couldn't do whatever it is that you are trying to get AI to do. You can't do.
You know what? I think long story short, in every industry, even in the NBA, there are players in the NBA right now who do not care about basketball. They are talented at a thing and they are getting paid to do a thing that they are talented at.
Yeah.
I don't think it has. I think every industry has a group of people who are, doing the thing for the money, right? You're not doing it because you are passionate about it. You're not doing it because you care.
Everyone's job is that.
You care about it. Right. I'm talking about, but when it comes to the arts, specifically, when it comes to movies and film and TV and comics and fine art and play, you know what I'm saying? For some reason, we get more emotional about those types of shortcuts that people take or those type of advantages that people take. And I don't know why that is, but I for one, I know that
I'm not necessarily emotional about it. I'm explaining what is happening. I feel like you guys are taking and trying to extrapolate it out to an insane degree.
I agree with you.
And then J. Pat makes a good point. It's not about, but if AI didn't exist, you would have to pay an artist, correct?
But yes I agree with you.
To make a comic book before AI, you didn't have to pay an artist?
No.
Okay. Okay, fine.
But I agree with you though.
Without AI, you either I got to be very specific. Before AI, you either had to draw the book yourself.
Okay, so that's not paying an artist.
Fine.
Right?
When you sell the book, where the money going?
To the publisher.
All right, then. All right,
to the publisher.
Stop it.
Is that not true? Because
you don't get no money. You ain't get no money.
Do I get money as an artist or as a publisher?
Are you getting money at some point within the process, Victor?
I think it matters, doesn't it? Because that's what we're talking about here.
Victor, I'm asking you.
No, it doesn't matter, Vic. If you drew it and you get paid for it, you're getting paid as an artist.
Right now?
No, that's not true. That's not true.
It is true.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's
not true.
Hey, you either have to do it yourself or find somebody else.
Again,
to do
if I do it myself,
you only got
I'm
two
not
options.
getting paid as an artist.
Do you, Victor? Yes or no? You have two options before AI. Do it yourself or get somebody else to do it.
Sure.
Correct. Okay, cool. So if we can understand this, right? You get it. You only got two options.
Okay.
That means with AI, this AI has provided a third option that doesn't require you to do it yourself or get somebody else to do it.
Right.
Right. So, but it also doesn't require you to even have to really pay anybody.
None of those three options required me for me to pay anybody. None of them.
Okay.
Which one requires me to pay?
All right, Sean.
Which one requires me to pay?
So, how are you getting? So, if you get somebody else to do your book, How are you? What bargain are you providing? When you say forget payment, let's say they help you move. Somehow there is an exchange of favors that take place that get you to the option, that get you the artwork. Unless on the very, very, very vague thing that they do it for free, and in which case maybe they want rights to the character, half the rights to the characters.
Okay.
Somehow, some way, there is some bargaining taking place where you are getting something out of the deal. So if pay is the word that is holding you up, let's go with that.
So you're saying in
just
some
like
way,
if you
form,
do it yourself, you are getting some benefit.
I got a thing that came out. Yeah. I got a thing that came out.
You get the benefit of essentially paying yourself. You are doing the work. I am my own writer and artist. Okay, that means that I don't have to pay anybody else
from a
any
publisher
residual
standpoint.
income.
From a publisher standpoint, let me come at it strictly from a publisher standpoint. If you pay yourself, let's say you make back the expense of printing, right? That would be a fallacy. Right, that would be a bad move for the business. Correct?
How you use the money is
no. That's very important because again, you're specifying what qualifies what I'm doing with the money that is received. So you're saying I'm paying myself, but if I pay myself versus pay the print costs or recoup the print costs, these things are very, very specific in a business structure. Where very simply, I can only pay the print recoup costs, and I never pay myself. I still get the book done, right? That still happens, right? If I go in with somebody and we go 50-50 split on profit, but the only money we make covers the actual production, we never get profit. I didn't pay that person.
But they accepted the compensation of the rights.
Again, but there is
use Danny's words. There is some compensation taking place.
That compensation only exists once there is an actualization of compensation. Otherwise, it is an offer at best. It is not actual payment. They haven't gotten anything.
No, he's saying if the compensation is okay, we published this thing and I own half of it. If that's my compensation, then I've been compensated. If we make the thing and it's published, okay, even if there's no money that comes from it, I've been compensated through the publishing of this thing.
The agreement that y'all have in place.
That is, we'll say what you're saying is that there is an agreement that we both will own this thing, right? Whatever comes about it will come about it.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So in that regard, there is no difference across the board from me drawing it, me making this agreement, and me using AI. It's not changing.
There's absolutely a difference.
There's no change. There's still no change.
Absolutely a difference.
There is not.
You want to know the difference?
Yes, please.
One took one person, two took two people, one basically takes one person and a computer.
If I took myself, it was just one person.
That's what I said.
I know. There's no change. That's what I said. There is no change amongst the scenarios. None.
Listen, if you write it and draw it, that means the entire work of art took one person. That means one person did all the work.
If I use AI, is there another person that's prompting it? If I'm using AI, is there another person that's prompting it, or is it just me?
They're the people.
Doesn't matter if the other person's prompting.
They're all the people that
they're still not doing the work.
The AI took from.
They ain't doing no work.
Who's not doing any work?
That's not work.
What's not work?
That's not work. Prompting is not work. That's not work. I don't care. Like
writing panel descriptions to me.
On that.
It seems like writing panel descriptions to me.
We're not even close.
That's what I'm
not even close.
Extremely.
Tell me what the difference is.
Stop it.
Tell me what the difference is. Tell me what the difference is.
Huge difference.
Tell me what it is.
Huge difference.
We're in extreme.
You're Donald Trumping right now. Tell me what the difference is.
I'm Donald Trump.
Oh,
you're the one
yes.
Tell
me what the difference is. What is the difference between the two? What is the difference between the two?
Hey, don't Donald Trump me when you literally went back and forth because I said the word pay.
Again, tell me what the difference is.
You couldn't differentiate between pay and compensation.
You're still trying not to tell me what the difference is. What is the difference?
Come on, man. You know the difference.
Tell me what the difference is.
Even if you write a full script and give it in,
again,
you're still another human being is not producing what you put out.
Again, that doesn't change anything for me. I am still literally. It does not change anything for me. What does it change for me?
Changes it. I told you how it changes it.
What does it change?
I told you how it changes.
No, you just said that another person doesn't put anything out there.
It doesn't change anything for me. And you are being willfully obtuse here.
I'm gave you obtuse.
If you do it by yourself, one human being
to write every single book that I've ever written.
If you do it with two people,
that would be used to put in a
human beings are doing all the work. If you do it with you and AI, that means a human being did half the work and the AI did the rest of the work.
Okay.
That's the difference. And I'm telling you, and that has been my entire point. You literally took
it's just me doing it, it's still the same one person.
Instead of it to being two people, because you are unable to draw, because that's otherwise you do it yourself, unless you're just lazy or you're not that good an artist. Then you're getting a computer to do the work.
Okay.
And that is where, and I just told you philosophically, that's where my problem is.
Again,
my issue is that it's not another human being.
That is not the
and
question
you didn't go get a
I said on a literal basis.
That's where you took the money out of somebody's hands. That is my point. You took the ability for another human being to get compensation from it.
For me.
Yes, you did.
It is not the same. It is not the same.
Did you not take the ability for another human being to get some form of compensation for that work by using AI?
Because I don't owe another human being anything.
But that's
you keep using the word "oh." It's not about "oh." It's about literal.
Because
it's literal.
Wait, in that part of the conversation,
you're using "oh" to move the
goalpost.
I'm talking about literally.
That is not moving the goalpost. I'm using simple language.
I never said the word "oh." I said, did you or did you not take the ability for another human being to be compensated or to profit from the work? Yes or no? And you can't answer.
Javon, hold on.
You
Javon,
can't answer.
Javon,
yes, I can.
But what you're saying is where the hang up is that you're saying you're taking another human's right to do.
I said you're taking the ability. I didn't say you're taking. How about this?
But he's not.
How about this? You're taking an opportunity away from another human being to have the ability to do it. How are you not doing it, Victor?
Now
you're lying, Vic, because I'm not saying the word "oh."
What he's saying is he doesn't owe them.
Don't use a word that I'm not using. I'm not using the word "oh." I just said an
opportunity. To my opportunity then?
Yeah,
why I said is entitled to it.
That's what that is.
A literal thing, Victor.
That is literally what that is, Javon.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Listen, we all have the opportunity to become president. That don't mean we're owed it.
Yes, it does. That's
you
what
have
you're saying.
No, it doesn't.
That is absolutely what you're saying. That is 1,000,000% what you are saying.
Danny Cooper saying the same. Like so.
I'm not arguing the morality of it.
But that is a part.
I just said I disagree with it on a philosophical point of view.
Amani asked the question: is it ethically wrong to use lettering fonts instead of hiring a letterer? Okay.
Is it ethically wrong?
It is not ethically. I don't think it is ethically wrong to use lettering fonts over hiring a letterer. I learned the letter.
To me, we're getting insanely deep into the semantics of these conversations, which is where to me in the AI conversation, that is what all of it boils down to. It boils down to this is that conversation that we're having right now. The reason that I would not use AI is because I know what it is going to do to the independent comic community once it gets again. So my job as an electrician, the type of electrician I am, is to automate different components of the system that we have within the city, right? That is my job. The whole reason that I'm automating that process is so that people don't have to sit there and watch it or do it or press this button or whatever. We're automating it to make sure that can happen on its own. So you could make the argument. A better argument would be U-scans at a grocery store. You could, if at Walmart, you used to have, at a big Walmart, you'd have like 20 lanes open. Now you have 20 lanes open, but there are half of the staff of cashiers at those regular lanes, because you have a U-scan at the end that can take usually 5 to 10 people. You know what I'm saying? And more often than not, people, they were nervous about using U-scan in the beginning, but now once they see it's kind of efficient, instead of me having to hire 5 or 6 other cashiers, I can pay for this U-scan one time and have 2 cashiers all day watch that U-scan as it goes about. So people are losing out on jobs because of this technology that has been automated, right? Mm-hmm. So the entire thing of AI and the entire argument of AI still boils down to a moral conversation. All that's honestly what it boils down to, because as a business model, and that's part of that was a conversation I was gonna go into earlier when Vic said, like, as a business owner, my job is to make the most money by spending the least, right?
Yes. I don't disagree on that.
And Danny said, is it though? There's a very good conversation in there as well, but those are personal choices, right? So because there's a huge debate about that economically all the time. Like, you could argue that's trickle down economics versus going about it a different way. You know what I'm saying? Because trickle down economics says all the money's up here, and if all the people up here have this money, it's going to continue to trickle down to the people that are below them, because there's a system below them that can't run. The rest of these people on top can't make this money without the people on bottom. The problem that the other side will say is, oh yeah, but if the people up top are making 1,000 or 1 million times what the average person on the bottom is making, even though that company can't exist without them, there's a problem there. How do we put regulations in place? And then there's another argument there. I don't want regulations. You know what I'm saying? I don't want regulations. This is my business. This is my idea. If you don't like what I'm paying my employees at this business, you can go work for another business, but you won't work here. And that's why the idea of capitalism, and whether capitalism is bad, evil, whatever, that's a whole conversation. That's why it's still a moral conversation. The AI conversation is still a moral conversation, because that's where it comes down to what Vic is saying, which is, I don't owe that artist anything, which is a true and valid point, versus what you're saying, Javon, which is a true and valid point as well. Yes, did an artist that can produce this work miss out on the opportunity of working with me? Yes, but that's the decision. I don't owe that to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't owe that to them. There's nothing morally wrong with me making that decision to use the AI, but that is where the anger came in with this thing with Kaepernick. The anger is coming in from those who
are. But my thing is, it's not. I'm not using the word "oh," and I think
there's no point. But there's no point in getting caught up on that, really, honestly, because
that's where we're caught up.
I think, you have to understand that when you're talking about taking away somebody's opportunity, you are establishing that there is an entitlement to said opportunity.
No,
yes, because otherwise there is nothing to take away.
Yeah, you're taking away the possibility. Does that,
even the possibility?
Like, I feel like it's a semantics thing. It's literally a semantics thing.
That possibility.
It's a semantics thing.
That is not semantics.
Nobody's owed.
That is not semantics.
Listen, guys, stop for a second. If you have 100 artists, right, and you go into a room of 100 artists and you need something drawn, right, and you go, you know what? I'll just use this computer. Kenji, shut the hell up, dude. You ain't in the club, dude. Anyway, if you go and I'm gonna use this computer, did you take away an opportunity from one of those 100 artists to do it?
No, I did not.
Was the computer in the room? Who put a computer in the room?
I did. What? I brought it with me because I'm gangster.
So,
no, literally,
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. It is a matter of it comes down as it's the personal choice. It's a personal choice.
I don't disagree on that.
Do not have.
I don't disagree
with people using AI. I have not seen to this point. And this is what I truly believe. I have not seen anything that I know of that was made with AI that I enjoyed enough to spend money on. And I think at the end of the day, for these companies will start to understand, unless the AI gets just good enough for people to start throwing money at it. For people to start throwing money at it. Yeah, Secret Invasion, but the title sequence was
but the only
I
thing
think if you're expecting
with all technology,
comic book companies to back off, I don't think there's I think the rabbit is not the rabbit the
cat.
Genie.
Pandora's box is already open at this point.
They're not.
I think they are full speed ahead. You've seen
that
DC Comics and Marvel Comics already have artists with using AI for covers. It ain't gonna be long.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna be long.
That's the problem.
And this is hold on. And this is the thing I wanted to give Vic his due on too for what he said is like I do take pride in the fact that I don't use AI. And so if AI, the more prevalent AI goes, oh, that's great. If you want AI, you good, but I can give you that real deal. Like all my work has been done with this left hand. So like there is going to be some
pure cocaine
value. Yeah. Damn it, Daddy. There is going to be a value there to it. You know what I mean? There's going to be a value to people who are still doing it that way. Like I did agree with you in when you said that, even though it does still bother me, like I do agree with that, you know. It's like, you know, when you have, and you used a really good analogy where you have like and I've actually seen this play out in real time, and I'm sure you have, where you have the guys who have like the huge walls of like art of pinups and stuff like that, and you know, you're over here with your books, but you're killing them, but all they got is like 100 pinups of, you know, Superman and Spider-Man that everybody else got. So I did agree with that sentiment. Like, and I wanted to make sure, because I know you said it before on your show, and I wanted to give you credit on that one.
Thank you. I think that is important to understand too. Even in the auspice that Marvel and DC start using AI exclusively, the amount of work that'll be created for them will only booster our opportunity to make our own stuff. And what our individual voices will ring higher than what theirs will be. And at best, they will be the entrance to comics, but we will be the ones that carry it into actual literature, because we'll be the ones actively making literature. We'll be making Watchmen while they're still doing, at best, Golden Age stories.
Guida is that, like I said, ultimately, and we could continue on this forever, honestly, because there's different facets to look at it. But ultimately, I think this entire conversation, the whole reason there's emotions caught up in it, anger and stuff like that, is because people's livelihoods are caught up in this. But as we also know, technology does not stop for anybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to happen regardless, which is why SAG, which is why the Writers Guild, that's why all of them came together and they went on strike. That's the only way you do stop it, is by people choosing not to consume it. That's what I'm saying. There's 50 million other I just had a conversation about this from an economic standpoint the other day. One of my friends was talking about, and we could talk about it on another show, but they were talking about whether or not you could become a billionaire without causing harm or
to somebody,
crapping on somebody else.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation about that, and it's a very multifaceted conversation. I think it's possible, but I think people choose not to do that because there are other people around them to make it comfortable for them to do that. Like a quick example would be, you know what I'm saying, Target and Walmart are two of the biggest retail stores that we know of, God knows, in America anyway. And but you have a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying, work at Walmart that are on Medicaid or something, you know what I'm saying? Like Walmart makes more than enough money to pay for their employees to have health care. They don't do that because the government, because they put themselves in a space for the government to be able to pay for it. The conundrum you run into as a government or as a person that's trying to be moral or whatever word you want to use is it right for you to impose on that business for them to have to pay for their employees' health care based on how much they make? That will be fought in courts. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's a continuing cyclical, you know, conversation that just so happens to be in the lap of our community right now. You know what I'm saying? And I, again, as I said earlier, I'm not going to support it. You know what I'm saying, whatsoever. But do I understand? Like, me and my dad had a really good conversation about this, and my dad is somebody that's not in the indie comic space and doesn't have that talent. He can write, he has the idea, but it's a lot. He was trying to pay traditional artists to do it and to produce what he was thinking about and work with them. But if he knows that he can go to this AI and plug in his idea, give it the prompts or whatever, and it produces something that makes him happy, can I blame him for that?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where the bigger conversation is. Like,
I was saying to Tiana, my wife, she loves me to death, and she understands all of the struggle that artists and creatives go through. But when she needs some art done, if she has an idea that she wants to get done, she's going to say, how can I get this art? What's the easiest way that I can get this art? What is the convenient way that I can get this art done? I'm going to say, hey, I know a guy who can do that. He's going to charge you this much and it's going to take him this long. And she's going to say, oh, I need it today. So I'm going to go to the computer. You know what I'm saying? And I can't fault my wife for not caring about something as much as I care about something. Like,
yeah, but that goes along with why a lot of artists are upset, because there is a devaluing of art and the artist.
Well, she doesn't.
Whether but she's not. It's not so much that it's devaluing in. Well, I need this quick. I need this fast. It's not. Well, I want something that's good, right? Like something that's good.
She doesn't care.
Right. She just like, I need it quick and fast. And I think there is a level of devaluing it, and it's not like and it's not always in a, screw these artists. It's sometimes it's in a, I don't want to take the time, like you just said. I need it right now. This dude will take me, a week, and I need it tonight. And like, in days past and years past, people would have no choice. Now they do. And that's why I wasn't arguing with you guys about, something being cheap and fast, and convenient is the other word. And like, that's just always been the direction that the world is going in. And so like, I personally, as an artist, I can feel that pain. It doesn't bother me as much, but I understand how it feels as an artist, especially when like you hear like, people who, I want to write a children's book, and then they can just go to AI and create one. And I've literally had people come to me and be like, I want to write a children's book. And then I explain to them how much a children's book will cost from me. And they're like, and they'll walk away. And I won't even be charging a lot. Like, I'm not even charging like a crazy amount. But for most people, it's like, you know what? I don't think it's worth this much. Or they don't want to share. Like, if I say, hey, listen, I'll do it, but I need to keep half the rights and then they still don't want to do it because they want to keep all the profit for themselves. These are the things that artists run into all the time. And so I understand it and I empathize with it. And that's why, for a philosophical point of view, I disagree with it. Now, I understand it from a logical, pragmatic point of view, but,
I think I got a bedtime. I'm going to say something to Mr. Colin Kaepernick. I did talk to Colin Kaepernick, and I felt he was very nice. He was very genuine. I really felt like he cared about the perspective that I was given. Okay. So, Colin Kaepernick, if you are listening, I think that Lumi could be great for creators, but I think you would have to clearly define what is and what is not in order to get artists and writers who've been doing this on the platform. I think you have to clearly separate the AI from the real traditional artist stuff. And I think you would have to make sure that any artist who is putting their stuff on the platform, the AI is not being trained off of their stuff. I think those are two things that you could probably do to start getting some. Go ahead, Vic.
I just want to throw out, just conceptually, the reason why he wants that to be trained on the artwork is because currently, as it stands, if AI is using scraping in order to pull any sort of data to generate content, a lot of it is going to be skewed towards cis hetero white men. And the only way to combat that is to feed it other options. I think that is one of the reasons specifically. I have not talked to Colin. Let me be very clear about that. I have not talked to him, but I think that is one of the reasons why he went to Black creatives to get them to feed into this AI so that it is more capable of effectively putting out more representation or diverse showcases, because it is a genie that won't be put back in the bottle, but we need to make sure that it is more capable of showcasing what we all individually look like. And because the current scrapings doesn't show that, you can't do it.
That makes sense. There's been multiple reports on that, even with just facial recognition software, like facial recognition software, makeup, like all of those things, like that there is an implicit bias in the programming alone, you know what I'm saying, that will always skew towards those things. So that's a very good point.
What I would say to Mr. Colin Kaepernick is you have the ability to do something. Man, hold on to it, man. Just hold on to it. We'll do it next week.
How we gonna do top 5 without doing the top 5?
We can do it next week.
Top 5 reasons why we had this whole conversation. There we go.
I mean, we can do it. We can do it as a part 2, because I didn't even.
We can do a part 2. We didn't even get to.
I didn't even come after the people that's coming for Kamala yet.
We didn't even get to that, man. We didn't even get to that.
I definitely have a public service announcement for those people.
Please tell Buddha this is my house. Yes, I am in my house. I saw that a while ago.
Hey, listen, I do
make that point about.
I do appreciate you coming on, Vic, man. Listen, you give as good as you get, man. I mean,
that's what I'm here for.
That's what I'm here for. It's always a fun time having a conversation with you. Have we ever like fully agreed on the topic ever?
This might be the closest.
This might be. This might be. Like,
you had 2 points with me. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, Javon. It's not even that I think we disagree. It is the laying low of all pretenses of what exactly we're talking about. And if you put it all on the list, I think you could go, all right, well, I agree with this, but I only agree with this much. Or I agree with this, but I only agree this much.
Right.
Because like off rip, I will say this. How many of y'all feel threatened by AI?
I don't.
I won't say I feel threatened as much as I know the effects that it's going to have on the community. How we respond to it is going to make all the difference.
I can definitely agree with that.
I'll say,
like, if we all start up, go ahead.
I don't know if I like threaten, but I can see the bad place. If you know what I'm saying.
I see the bad.
I can see the bad place. So right now I don't feel threatened, but I can see the bad place and I can see how close it is. And I can see the bad place. Well, for me, the point I was trying to make is like, especially because I've done freelance art before. Mm-hmm. And so like I can see a point where they start phasing out artists from no. I'm not talking about comic books, just comic books. I'm talking about other graphic design and other stuff. Like graphic design is already being phased out easily. And I have friends in the graphic design industry, including you, but I'm saying I have other friends as well. They talk about how much AI that they have to use now. Like they're being forced to use. I'm not saying you, Danny, you one person. Black people always. But that's just for me. Like for me, I can see what I consider to be the bad place. And so I could see getting to a point where I'm uncomfortable. But regarding like in the realm of comics, I'm not necessarily threatened because I can do everything.
But in regards to that, and this is one of the big things that I always try to like showcase to people, is that it's a two-way pendulum. Like it's not one-sided in terms of its we'll call it in that replaceable use. If companies can start using AI to replace graphic designers can start using AI to replace those companies, and it will all fit together in a beautiful sort of way. For me personally, I'm very pro AI, specifically because in my family, I have a huge medical history of Alzheimer's and dementia. And considering that writing and the way I think is such a pivotal part of my creative process, the fear of losing any of it terrifies the hell out of me. It is something I've been afraid of for decades because that's how long it's been a part of my family history. Mm. So I personally want to train AI to be able to find my voice, because there's going to come a point, I fear, in my lifetime that I won't actually have the skill set that I do right now to produce things. And the closer I can get to AI to being able to mimic what I can do, the more stuff I can actually get out into the world, and it will feed my children. That is one of the biggest things for me, is to have as little of a catalog of unfinished things than as possible. Like that is literally one of my biggest aims for it, because again, I'm 42. Like I've seen family members within the next 2-3 years.
Hey man, come on now. Hey,
Danny.
Yo, hey. Danny, no more tickets.
Don't do that.
No more tickets for you, sir. You're cut off.
He just bought an for Fan Expo.
I'll take it back.
But no.
Let me get them tickets, man. I'm 43, man. I just turned 43.
Go to Javon now. Danny's tickets all go to Javon. I'm gonna put that call out right now. If Danny Quick shows up, you send those tickets to Javon. I don't care if Javon's leaving after the show. You send it to him anyway. But no, that is a concern of mine, and one of the things that I am looking forward to, hoping to cultivate as a skill set for those, again, if you have the ability to tell stories and you ever lose that ability, this should be something that could be used to kind of fill in that blank there. So that is one of those things that will be an ongoing thing. Guido wants to know what is the best way to do it. I don't know. I will straight up say I don't know the best way, but this is a new option to this problem that I've had concerns about for decades that I never had the option to consider before.
I think that is one of the things that makes the movies that deal with this so interesting and awesome. Like Ex Machina is one of my favorite movies that deals with this, especially because of the question that there was another movie that literally they were talking about downloading his consciousness so that when he died, but then the construct of the conversation was, what is consciousness? Which, even from a human perspective, we're still struggling to put that into, you know what I'm saying? Like we're still struggling to put that. Like I've heard really great conversations about why humans even sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like they're very good conversations about all that stuff, which as AI continues to get better, those questions will come up. And that's what makes those stories even more intriguing. And I understand, I can see both sides of the AI argument. I just know, with just like anything else, consumers and the people ultimately hold the power. And I don't care what structure you're looking at. It's just a matter of you organizing to do what it is that you want to do. And more often than not, the reason that we're in a lot of situations that we're in as a I'll just stick to a country right now, but as a country is because the getting organized to do what it is that people say they want to do ain't going to happen. And the big corporations don't have that problem because they have enough money. They have enough money to delegitimize whatever. I don't care what you're thinking about, whatever. Like 98% of the time that somebody says, I stand against this, I hate this, I'm not doing this, the corporation's like, yeah, you will. You know what I'm saying? All we got to do is keep putting it in front of you and make it convenient, and you'll do it at some point. Like I know plenty of people that said, I'm not opening no phone with my fingerprint. I'm not opening no phone with my face. I'm not opening done all of it. You know what I'm saying? Done all of it. You know what I'm saying? And we don't even think twice about it now. And they didn't force it on you. They
already did this with AI. Remember all the AI pictures everybody was taking? Remember?
But that's my point. If you put that my point is, just like in the AI conversation, I think you said it earlier, Javon, it was you and Vic. It was you, because you were saying like one of the things that's going to be very important going forward with AI is creatives as a whole being very smart about how we move forward. And that's 1,000,000% what it's going to come down to. Just like everything else. Like that's why I said this conversation, you could have it in our space. It just what this is an economical conversation, a human rights conversation, a justice conversation that just so happens to be falling in our lap at this moment. That's all this is. But
you're absolutely right on that one.
It's the exact same conversation that's just been recycled and it fell in our lap now.
The goal will be though for us to think not just in the moment, but long term. I mean, literally, the whole reason why we're having this conversation is something that most of us never even thought of, which was putting our work on the internet would be a problem. Most of us never thought that would be the issue. And now, due to this, it is a problem. The one thing that I want to caution everybody about, especially those that are using stuff to poison AI, be very, very careful, because if there's not a distinction between an AI aggregate and like Google will stop sharing your stuff because it's using the same algorithmic process to determine what stuff it should collect and share about you. You trying to protect yourself will inevitably eliminate yourself from an internet perspective. So you got to think bigger than just the momentary of, I don't want this to happen. What got us here and all of our own senses of responsibility for it. It's not just that AI decided this. We gave it a lot of information because we never thought that this is what would happen. Now that it's here, we can't be, or we shouldn't be mad at the thing. We need to start having these conversations about, okay, since it's here, what are the ethical ways that this should happen versus this? And what are the ways?
And that's only going to happen. And again, like we keep handing off power to and everything else, we're going to continue to hand that off to the people with the most money, and they're going to continue to hand that off to Congress. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Regular people don't got time. I mean, I understand that.
Yes, they do.
Here talking about it
yes,
right
they
now,
do.
Man, yes, they do. My bills, bro. I'm trying to take my kids.
If it was as much of a matter of life and death as we think it is, then we'd be doing it. But it actually is. We just don't view it that way because I said this to somebody not long ago. There was a time period where cell phones used to be niche, and you having a cell phone was supposed to be a status symbol or whatever. Now it still costs them a lot to make them cell phones, and that they continue to drop the price. The way that they became insanely rich to the point that they are now is that they now found a way to make it available for everybody. So now everyone in Africa has cell phones, smartphones at that. Why? Because they were able to drop the price, but then you could put pay structures in place and be like, man, you $1,000, yeah, it's cost $1,000, but all you got to pay is $20 a month. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Subscription services, same thing. It's no different, and I'm not faulting them for those things. That's on us. Fast food. Fast food was not a thing for my grandmother. It was not a thing for my parents. Fast food is a thing for us. And how did it work? Convenience. All they have to do is sell us with convenience. That's it. And we will lose almost every time. And that's what the government relies on. That when 9/11 happened and people were so apprehensive about, no, you're not taking my freedoms. If the fear is there.
Listen, we still take our shoes off. It's been almost 25 years. We still taking our shoes off.
And it's not going to change.
Unless you got that TSA pre-check.
If you put the right prompt in front of people.
You got to do a lot to get it, too.
They're going to continue to make the same decisions.
You got to do a lot to get it. You got to run. They got to run your prints and do some things just to get through it.
Convenience will win over.
I don't disagree with that.
Almost,
I don't disagree with none of what y'all
said.
Again, my philosophical, not practical.
So like I said, we could do a part 2 next week if y'all want. We didn't even do the list.
We'll do it next week. We'll do it next week.
Because I know that Hope Vic, I know you the hardest working man in comics. I don't know if you can come back, but
next week I got to get ready for Fan Expo Chicago.
I get it. Listen, it's an open invitation. You know what I'm saying? If you want to drop through at any point, come through, bro.
Yeah. You're not going to Dragon Con, are you?
No, I've never done Dragon Con. I've never done that one. Baltimore Heroes 3 I've never done.
Come on, man. You gotta get on that, man.
All right, listen. You can make me say the most childish stuff. They gotta pay me.
No, I'm with you. I with you.
I get paid to go. If you're not paying, I'm not going. So.
I'm with you, sir.
Jacoby, stop it right now. No,
I'm sorry. That was very light skinned of me.
I will. Y'all gonna mess around and make me invite.
I'm with you, man. Honestly, when I get to a certain point, they gonna have to pay me. Like they gonna have to pay me, man.
You know,
I'm trying to get there. Right now, I got budget. I got travel.
Listen, I'm willing to open up doors for everybody. So you tell me what you're working with. I'll show you how to get to where I'm at. We can just ride together. I got you.
We can talk.
Okay,
we can talk because I gotta get this. I need this Fan Expo thing worked through. So you know,
I got you.
we will definitely talk. When the next time I'm gonna see you? It might be San Francisco, maybe.
Okay.
I might. If it's not San Francisco, it's definitely New Orleans.
Okay, I got you.
Because I just gave him my list of
shows you want to do.
Shows.
I got you.
Yeah, I was like, it's most of them too.
Okay. That ain't a bad thing.
The only thing I'm not sure about is Chicago.
We will hold off. We'll hold off on doing our list. We might even come up with a better list or a draft. I want to get Vic on for one of the drafts. We got to figure out what draft we'll do.
Okay.
But I know you would love it.
Yeah, we can.
I know Vic would love it. So
hey, you know what we should do? We should do a comic book artist draft.
I can't do that.
I can't do that.
You can't do that?
I know too many people. I would get in trouble for that.
I would pick my.
No, you pick your favorite. You pick a roster of artists.
I'm going straight favorites immediately.
Nah.
Yeah.
But it's a draft though, so you might not be able to pick one of your friends.
It's gonna cause it's just gonna cause strife.
I know too many people.
It's gonna cause strife.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I had to get you in trouble.
That's gonna cause strife. I see that. But we got to get you on for a draft. We just got to figure out what it is.
For sure.
But we appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming through, bro.
Appreciate that.
And as usual, we'll come up with whatever. We don't know what the topic's gonna be yet. But
we still gotta do this one.
I know we ain't even do this topic, so I should. I will say, I'm gonna say quickly, and I'm still getting off. Like I'm literally not even gonna have a conversation. I'm just gonna say it. Black men, if you were talking trash about Kamala Harris, and you're not doing it based on you having a difference of opinion based on policy, or really just policy, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know her, so you can't speak about that. I've seen way too many black men speaking about her, saying she's a hoe, she slept her way to the top, she's saying this, saying that, and specifically not saying, putting facts with whatever it is that they're saying at the time of them saying it, or when asked for. I would like for you to, I'm gonna be good. I would like for you to stop doing this because it is not becoming of you as an African American male to tear down a woman just because she's in a position, she's in process to the possibility of a prominent position. If that makes you uncomfortable to the point that you need to speak that way about her, not knowing her, you don't know her, and you're speaking about it that way, you should examine yourself, and you should talk to your mother longer. You should speak to your mother.
Can I say this though?
Speak to your grandmother longer, your daughter, whatever woman it is that's close to you in your life. You should either apologize to them or go talk to them a little bit longer.
You see,
I'm trying to be nice. No,
I got you. What you're missing though is, and I knew this was going to happen the minute she decided to run. Is we are seeing which men, black, white, whatever, which men.
I'm speaking to the black ones right now.
Hate women.
You're not wrong.
And specifically black men.
You're not
seeing
wrong.
The men who say these things don't generally have a high respect level or regard for black women in general. So it ain't just her.
But that's why. But I'm just saying. That's why I gave context to me saying it. I didn't say if you have something bad to say about Kamala. I said if it is not based on policy, you don't know her.
It ain't even up. But you got to understand, man. It ain't got nothing to do.
I do understand.
Even the ones that claim that it's about policy, I don't think it's about policy. Because I would vote for an inanimate carbon rod before I vote for Donald Trump.
Yes,
I don't care.
Oh, you said that earlier, and someone was like, "That's what's wrong." I'm like, "Why is that wrong?"
But that's a different conversation. That's why I said I'm going to be good. That is a different conversation.
Tyler can come on the show anytime he wants.
Yes, you let me know when he does, and I will make sure I'm not.
Tyler, you let us know. I will gladly explain to you how you literally make no sense on a regular basis when it has to do with Donald Trump.
I need to state for the record.
Say it. You ain't got to say
for the record that I was not speaking about him. I'm talking about.
Victor brought it up. Victor,
that was my fault. That was my fault.
Wait, and I wanted to address it because he said that it was a problem that I would vote for an inanimate carbon rod before I vote for Donald Trump. And he said that's the problem. And I was like, if you can't understand why it's a problem.
And that is a separate conversation. I just want to make sure that I
tell you, bro.
And that's
you're more than welcome to come on.
I just want to make sure that I nicely invite black men that are doing that are doing this behavior to kindly stop. And if you're having issues stopping, talk to your mother a little bit longer. Talk to your grandmother.
It ain't gonna do.
Talk to your
that
sister,
ain't gonna do nothing, man.
Whatever. Hey, listen, it
ain't gonna do nothing. They've been feeling same men been feeling this way their entire lives. It's talking to their mama ain't gonna help. Talking to their wife, because they probably talk to their wife the same way they be talking about Kamala Harris.
This is me saying it in a nice way. No. When we get to the conversation,
I won't even waste my breath.
When we get to the conversation, I'm not going to be as nice.
I gotta go, y'all. I gotta put my son down, and then I gotta pick up my wife.
See y'all next Tuesday. Vic, thank you again, bro.
I got you.
Continue to be the hardest working man in Congress.
Always.
We'll talk, man. We definitely gotta talk about that Fan Expo thing, man.
Okay.
We definitely will talk, man.
I'll let you know.
We'll see y'all next week.
Brothers.